2nd, 2021 administration of oaths. The Boy Scouts Troop 1607 will please rise for the presentation of the colors. Please rise for the presentation of the colors. Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I'd like to call the Pomperaug High School Chamber Singers. They will sing the Star Spangled Banner and the closing song a little earlier because they all have activities.
Oh, say, can you
Beautiful. Thank you. Thank you so much. That was really sound nice. Now we'll have the invocation by Pastor Abigail Johnson from St. James Church.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for including me in tonight's event. Southbury is home to me very newly as of about a month and a half ago, but already I can see the generosity and the devotion of its people, and I am very blessed to be a part of the community, so thank you. It is not only what you do, but how you connect and love that can transform a role or a task into a gift from God. God bless your showing up and the details of your doing. God bless your willingness to fail and learn from the process. God bless your humility and your humor in the heart of what you do best. God bless your duty and joy for this community and impact. God bless your candor about what really matters to you. God bless your flexibility about the details and outcomes alike. God bless your observations about who else might be invited to help. God bless your stepping back so another can participate more fully. God bless your openness to a process of becoming together. And for these are the gifts of God, and so are you. If it is in your practice, let us pray together. God of many names, we give you thanks for those called into the service of others, those who volunteer their time to see that peace and justice and connection take shape in this community of Southbury, Connecticut, in the place that we call home. Let your presence be known to them on days of celebration and success, on days of hardship and trial, and all days in between we call life. Be their clarity and strength, their compassion for others, and hope for a better future, which we work towards together. Amen.
Okay, if we could have the town historian, John Dwyer, come up for a little presentation. Short one.
Thank you all and welcome. Southbury was incorporated in 1787, and I think at the initial town meeting, the obvious choice was apparent to lead this new young government. Shadrach Osborne was born in 1787 in the Southbury parish of Woodbury. He was a merchant by profession. He had a business on Main Street North. But in 1775, when war broke out with the mother country, he immediately enlisted in the Woodbury militia under Colonel Benjamin Hinman. They then marched to Fort Ticonderoga and to Crown Point, New York. There he was named to be the merchant to the army and also quartermaster. And he would have made associations with General Philip Schuyler. Hamilton fans here tonight? Any? Benedict Arnold, boos and hisses, maybe? And also Ethan Allen was there present at that place, and Ethan Allen was also reared in Woodbury, so they may have been associated and had relationships, certainly. When he returned to Connecticut in 1777, he was appointed assistant commissary to Colonel Peter Colt in New Haven. Now, people would not think of Northwest Connecticut of being a breadbasket back then, but it was a major agricultural site in the colonies. And Shadrach Osborne's papers have been very well preserved, and you can find through his records of him traveling around throughout the county and going to farm, by name, taking inventory of and negotiating for the acquisition of livestock, of flour, and of homespun, which was produced in every household and made up clothing and bedding. From there, it was all sent down through Woodbury to Southbury, because Southbury was the strategic east-west highway at that point. And from Southbury, you could travel down this road, which we stand beside, on to Danbury, and then further on to Peekskill, which was the major provision depot, and then ferried across the Hudson onto the Continental troops in New Jersey and in Pennsylvania. In order to make that trip, the meat had to be preserved with salt, which was their only decent means of preservation at the time. And interestingly enough, I found in Shadrach Osborne's personal paper his recipe for salting meat, which I've reproduced here, for any of you who want to try it. And at that time, there was a real concern that the British might even invade Southbury, as they had Danbury, for the same purpose of burning and destroying the provisions. And this was a very important point in that route. There was more materials given to the Continental Army from Connecticut than there was from any other of the colonies. And as a matter of fact, this salted meat was so well known and so recognized that it had the generic name of Western Connecticut beef. Like we think of Virginia hams, they used to call Western Connecticut beef. Now, in order to facilitate the trip on such a busy route, as this was what we now call Route 6 or 84, they had to have a decent crossing. And George Washington had commissioned a bridge to be built between Southbury and Newtown. Bridges were not all that common back then. Generally, you had to go to a ford and get your feet wet. So they thought it was important with the traffic to have a bridge put there. And Shadrach Osborne in 1780 was put on the committee to raise money to improve and repair this bridge. And then 2 years later, it did very good service, because Rochambeau's army of 5,000 French troops on their way to meet George Washington in Yorktown and effectively end the war crossed upon this bridge between our two towns. I just want to say something about Osborne. If you can see this, the building where he had his store on Main Street North across from the United Church of Christ, it either was there or that still is the same building. You notice there's a lane running alongside it, running behind it. The upper picture is, do I have a pointer here? No, I guess not. Is his house in the 1930s, which was some people said George Washington stayed there. I don't really think so, but that's how important they thought about. And later in 1973, just before it was dismantled and relocated. In his will, he left part of his property to what is now the Church of the Epiphany. A little bit about his family. He had one son, Benjamin Blagg Osborne, who owned the house that we now know as the Phillips Farm, and he ran a tavern in Southford that most people recognize as the Osborne, as the Oatman House or Oatman Hotel. And he had another son whose name was Erastus, who became the constable of New Haven County and was in West Haven and achieved notoriety for having cracked the case of grave robbers from the New Haven Medical School, Yale Medical School, who were snatching bodies from the graveyards there. And he covered that in his correspondence with his father, which one can still find today. He served the Patriot cause. He served as selectman. also as representative to the state legislature on a half a dozen times. He died in 1838 at the age of 91 and is buried at the White Oak Cemetery. This is what remains of his stone, if it's even still in such good shape today. So I welcome all you newly elected officials. Congratulations, and I hope you have as honorable a term as Shadrach Osborne.
Okay, this is the oath part of the ceremony. Welcome, elected members and boards and commissions. I'm Lynn Dwyer, and we'll take this opportunity to introduce my staff. Alice Mazzano, would you stand up? She's my deputy. And Danielle, an assistant. And Leah, our newest addition, an assistant as well. Lasparagato. So if you would like to come up, I'll read off by group, and that will include the regular members and alternate members. So if you come up, we'll give you your oath. You'll come over to this table, and if you need to take papers, you can go over to that table as well, because you need to sign also for your ethics paperwork please sign with your name and address and email. That would be helpful. So we'll start we'll do the Board of Selectmen afterwards so that they can be seated at the table to do the convening of the first meeting. So the Board of Finance. Is anyone here from the Board of Finance? Come on up. Board of Finance is Brian Emmerich, John Riley, and John Kelly, and Richard Kell. Earlier.
Hi.
Would you raise your right hand? Do you solemnly swear that you will faithfully discharge, according to law, the duties of the office of Board of Finance for the town of Southbury to the best of your ability, so help you God?
I will.
Okay. They'll have your sheet. Okay, and next is Board of Assessment Appeals, Gabby Addison and Marion Vanegas. Hi. Good. Raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear you will faithfully discharge, according to law, the duties of the office of Board of Assessment Appeals for the town of Southbury to the best of your ability, so help you God?
I will.
Yes, thank you. And Zoning Commission with alternates. Nobody else from zoning? Do you raise your right hand? Do you solemnly swear that you will faithfully discharge, according to law, the duties of the office? Oh, come on up. You're, we're doing planning.
No, we're doing zoning.
Planning. Did I say zoning?
Yeah.
Oh, well, we can do zoning while we're here. Are you zoning? Okay, I'm sorry. Do you solemnly swear that you will faithfully discharge, according to law, the duties of the office of zoning commission for the town of Southbury to the best of your ability, so help you God?
I will.
Some people combine those two, right? Thank you. You can go right over there. This is zoning. Okay, now, is there anyone here from planning? Come on. Hi. Planning is Ron Conti, Robin Greenspan, Nancy Clark, and Michael T. O'Rourke.
I'm Conti.
Hi. Okay, raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear that you will faithfully discharge, according to law, the duties of the office of Planning Commission for the town of Southbury to the best of your ability, so help you God?
I do.
Okay. Thank you. There you go. Board of Appeals, David Pittari, Sharon Scarlett, and Kathy Francina. John Allen.
Yes.
John Allen. I lost my spot there.
It's cool. It's
Wait a
totally
minute,
cool.
where
I was
is he?
like, oh no.
Would you raise your right hand? Do you solemnly swear that you will faithfully discharge, according to law, the duties of the office of Zoning Board of Appeals for the town of Southbury to the best of your ability, so help you God? Thank you. Next is Inland Wetlands Commission and alternate. And that's Daniel Slade, Robert DeCarli, Barbara Bantam, and Rona Hildespen. Hovasapian.
Yeah, what you see is what you say.
Okay.
No social security number. That's a Latin for. After you have done that, you gotta fill this.
And would you raise your right hand?
Takes the bottom.
Do you solemnly swear that you will faithfully discharge, according to law, the duties of the office of Inland Wetlands Commission for the town of Southbury to the best of your ability, so help you God?
I do.
And I do. Hi, Barbara. Nice to meet you. We had a phone call.
We did
that
have a few phone
conversation.
calls. Nice to meet you.
You too. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Pomprog Water Valley Authority. That's Ray Van Agas. And then the Region Board of Education, Board of Ed. Anyone here from Board of Ed? They have a different meeting schedule, so they've already signed their oaths, but I'll read their names. It's Heather Rogers, Marion Manzo, and Tom Marks. So congratulations. When we're finished here, Jeff. I'll do the Board of Selectmen. The Board of Selectmen, Jason Bushbaum, Holly Sullivan, Gregory Kuhn, Justin Betty, and John Deal.
If you could line up in front of the table.
When we finish giving your oath, do you mind sitting at the table? Okay. Raise your right hand.
Because it's going on the camera also.
Raise your right hand. Okay. Do you solemnly swear that you will faithfully discharge, according to law, the duties of the Board of Selectmen for the town of Southbury to the best of your ability, so help you God?
I will.
Okay. We'll go on over there and sign and take your code of ethics. Sign your code of ethics. Yeah, because we have a new form for everybody's name. Email. The email you want used for. And then, last but not least, to raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear that you will faithfully discharge, according to law, the duties of office of First Selectman for the town of Southbury to the best of your ability, so help you God?
I will.
And this is Jeff Manzo.
Quiet crowd.
And next, when everybody's signed in, we'll have the convening of the Board of Selectmen.
You don't have to be separated. This is one board now. I want to thank everyone for coming here tonight in support of the candidates being sworn in. Welcome to the newly elected people who are here. For many, this is an exciting time. As we come off an election cycle, I would like to share a few things with our elected officials. Many people ask me how I make decisions while there's so much political fodder, especially during an election cycle. It's never easy. Understand that. Some people are very vocal, and social media is always buzzing. You will wonder from time to time what direction to go. You've been elected by the people. When I first got in 2015, it was difficult. Many people polling your own political parties, wanting a certain agenda, certain things, and it's difficult. There's a very vocal group. Many times on social media, it's only 5 or 6 or 7 people who are pushing whatever message they want. So during those times, I stop. I look out of my office onto Main Street, and I see people driving up the road and down the road. And I say to myself, what is it? Why did they elect me, and what is it that they're looking for? I sat on wetlands for 18 years. It was hard. When I left the house to go to the meeting, I would say to my wife, well, somebody's going to be unhappy with me tonight, one side or the other. Approval of a subdivision with a room full of people who are against it. What we looked at was the regulations, what's legal, what's not legal, and what you're expected to do. So I look at these people as they go up and down the road, much like you people sitting here. What are they doing? They're trying to get to work. They're trying to take care of their families. They're trying to take care of their elderly parents, maybe some friends. They're trying to figure out, how am I going to juggle all this together and make my life work? I look at the cars going up and down the road, and I say to myself, what is it that they elected me to do? Did they elect it for an agenda? Did they elect me for what's on social media? What they elected me to do, and they elected all of us here, whether you're on Planning Commission, the Zoning Commission, the Zoning Board of Appeals, or Wetlands, they elected you for a purpose. And the purpose, one thing they are asking for, is unity in our society and in our town. So I ask that all elected officials take a look at the cars going up and down the road, and don't just talk to your echo chamber, your own people. They may be wanting you to do something. Think about what it is the citizens have elected you to do. Stay with that. Care about what they are doing. You will not always make a good decision or a popular decision amongst some of even your own peers. And that's the true sign of leadership, is that you're willing to make the hard decisions. Someone is not going to be happy tonight, one way or the other. But in the end, if you focus on what the people are looking for you to do, even though you've gone through an election cycle which had many messages, good, bad, all that went around, you're here now. We're sitting here, and we are elected to make decisions for the whole group and for all of Southbury. My hope is that that is what all elected officials do. Look at the cars going up and down the road, and what are they expecting us to do? Thank you. Go ahead.
Now the Board of Selectmen will convene in their first meeting.
I will call the Board of Selectmen organizational meeting to order at 7:30 in room 205. I'm looking to appoint Jason Bucksbaum as my chairman pro tem. Resolved that the Board of Selectmen hereby appoints Jason Bucksbaum as chairman pro tempore with the same privileges as the first selectman in his absence. Do I have a second?
Second.
Made and seconded. Any discussion on the resolution? Hearing none, all in favor? Aye. Opposed?
I'll abstain.
You'll abstain. Okay. And the vote carries. Next up is the bank resolution. I'm entertaining a motion. Resolved that the Southbury Board of Selectmen authorizes removal of George Bertram as a signer of the following Ion bank accounts and authorizes Jason Bucksbaum to be a signer on these accounts. And you have the bank account numbers. Do I have a motion?
Motion?
Can I have a second? John? Thank you, John. Made and second. Any discussion on it? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? It carries. Now to the most important part. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Do I have a second? Just seconded. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? And it carries. And we're adjourned. We would like to get a picture